Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Namaskaram. In this lecture, we shall be discussing about how dance got institutionalized and specifically how Kuchipudi dance became a part of the university and the college curriculum that is also offering degrees and doctoral programs in Kuchipudi dance. What are the advantages and what are the limitations in this lecture, which is a part of the course History, Evolution and Development of Kuchipudi Dance. This Kuchipudi dance drama tradition, its history and evolution that we have discussed since the lecture 1 for this course, we were seeing how this dance drama tradition was by default there in the families of the Kuchipudi Bhagavatulu, who belonged to a small Agraharam in the Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. When it comes to traditional dances, dear students, sometimes what happens, when the dance form is taught to the next generation of students, it is usually their own children who learn from their fathers and grandfathers. Later, they might have an advanced training from another well-known or illustrious guru in their same tradition. But the lessons that they start learning are from their immediate fathers and grandfathers. And what happens in these traditional arts? You sort of visually learn it from the time you are aware of your surroundings, from the time you are a baby. So as a child or as a baby, you have probably seen Kuchipudi when your father is dancing, or when your grandfather is singing, or when your father is teaching or performing. And there is nothing like that is new in terms of traditional art forms. When you start learning it, you might have already probably watched that or probably heard about that in bits and pieces. It is just that you as an individual have started learning the little technicalities of it at the beginning stage. But what happened, especially in dance forms like Kuchipudi, many non-hereditary dancers who have absolutely no idea about Kuchipudi have started learning it. There needed a systematization and a structure to this Kuchipudi dance. And especially post-independence, during the second half of the 20th century, there was a need for these dance forms. There was a need of renaissance to these dance forms rather. And this entire later half of the 20th century was a renaissance period, not just in terms of dance or music or theatre forms, but at a larger picture of India in general, because that was the time when we needed to establish our individual identities. And that awareness for the Indianness had to be established, or rather re-established, that got declined because of the colonial effect. We almost forgot about our texts. And there was a huge decline in the dance forms, both the Devadasi and the dance drama traditions. Many of the theatrical forms were banned in India. And because of all this, again it was the responsibility of the artists and the art associations and the cultural bodies of the government to again reinstigate that awareness of the great Indian art, culture and heritage among its people. There came academies like the Central Sangeeta Natak Academy and its sister branches in the varied political states of India that were divided according to the linguistic barriers. And when these states were divided, there came a need that you had to establish your own art form to represent it as the face of your state. There came Bharatanatyam from Tamil Nadu, Kathakali and Mohiniyattam from Kerala, Kuchipudi from the Andhra and the Telangana regions. Apart from re-establishing their status in the society, a lot of innovations, experimentations, risks, everything were taken to again get the normal vibrancy of those dance forms in the people. And Kuchipudi is no exception. And as we discussed in the earlier lectures, that there were so many Bhagavatulu along with Kuchipudi who have emerged during the time of Kuchipudi and were very active parallelly with the Kuchipudi Bhagavatulu, with the Kuchipudi Yakshaganas, but a sort of decline happened in them and they couldn't survive until how Kuchipudi is surviving today. And what is the main reason for the survival of Kuchipudi dance drama tradition is that it has always embraced the innovations and the experimentations that were needed at every point of time that the society needed. And that is probably one of the main reasons why, no matter it belongs to a traditional family, or rather a traditional art form that is just constrained to a small remote village in the Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh, has emerged over a period of centuries to a dance form that is looked up to in the entire world, that has become the face of Andhra and the Telangana states. To such an extent that even there is institutionalization that happened in these dance form of Kuchipudi. Imagine a dance form where a small child is learning from a father and knows about it right from the time that he is a baby and he is aware about the surroundings that he is living, to a level where it is taught in universities by giving a degree. You learn Kuchipudi and you get a degree. I mean, the graph that it has just gone up to is something which is very inspiring. And teaching a traditional art form at a university level has its own limitations and challenges. Because all these art forms, and not just Kuchipudi, be it Odissi or Kathakali or any other musical form or theatre form, is something that has to be learnt over a period of time, and it takes an entire lifetime to at least not master, but at least understand the fundamental nuances of it. I have myself listened to some of the great maestros of Kuchipudi dance say it in public at the age of 75 and 80 that it is now that I am slowly understanding what Kuchipudi is. That itself shows how big an ocean of every art form is in this country. It is really a pity when we hear some people say that I have learnt a certain dance form, now it's time I learn this dance form, and after I complete learning this dance form, I learn another dance form. It's a pity to know that. One lifetime is not enough to learn one art form. And as your maturity levels increase in a certain dance form or a music form or a theatre form, it is at that level that you understand that probably you don't know anything. And the lives of such gurus, such sishyas, such performances were the major reason of the development and the progress of this traditional art form like Kuchipudi. And as I said, post-independence, there was a need to showcase our traditional art forms, our culture, our heritage, and establish a classical base to them to get an accessibility for every community that was there in the society, to give it an access. All right. And not just in arts, but as said before, there was also a need for the general awareness in common man about the great art, culture, and the heritage of India. The systematization and the structuredness of Kuchipudi dance, which is a traditional art form, started from the basic level. the steps that are called as adugulu, a systematization in the adugulu also happened. Beat the efforts of many great maestros who have started dance institutions at their own villages, cities, have structured the adugulu or the steps in the Kuchipudi dance in such a way that it becomes easy for the non-dancers or from the dancers from the non-traditional families or for children of young age to start learning the physical technicalities of dance. And a very major change in the Kuchipudi dance drama tradition that also paved a way for the promotion and the popularity of the dance form was the inclusion of women into this Kuchipudi dance drama tradition, which was otherwise a complete male-centered and a male-oriented dance form. The moment women have entered the Kuchipudi dance tradition and the concept of solo traditions came forward by gurus like Vedantam Lakshminarayana Shastri Garu, the popularity and the fame that Kuchipudi dance received is par comparison. You cannot compare it, the popularity and the fame that it got. Because at that point of time of the society, solo traditions were very happening, were much needed for the society. And people used to come to watch the performances when women were performing. And when maestros like Dr. Vempati Chinnasatya Master Garu has started his institution, he has also developed the fundamental techniques of Kuchipudi dance in such a structured and systematized way that he taught the Kuchipudi adugulu also, and he also structured the physical technicalities of Kuchipudi dance that would suit the female bodies and not just the regular male performers who were performing since centuries in the Kuchipudi dance drama tradition. And once this Kuchipudi dance tradition stepped out of the village, with a lot of institutions being established in every small village and town in and around Andhra Pradesh, the popularity and the access that it got from the non-hereditary forms is also incomparable. Kuchipudi was recognized as an Indian classical dance in the year 1959. And post its recognition as a classical, the way in which it just spread its wings is very awe-inspiring. Introducing Kuchipudi as an academic course and inaugurating the first ever academic institution of Kuchipudi, the Siddhendra Kala Kshetram or the Siddhendra Kala Peetham in 1965. Even though there were a lot of dance institutions that were established in and around the Andhra region by gurus of hereditary families and non-hereditary families also, in the year 1965, the Siddhendra Kala Peetham that was established in the Kuchipudi village was probably the very first ever Kuchipudi concentrated, a college level institution that was one of its kind during those times, with the efforts of many hereditary gurus and also scholars like Banda Kanakalingeshwar Rao Garu, with the help of the government of Andhra Pradesh and the government of India. Siddhendra Kala Peetham has, from 1965, has taught thousands of students in the Kuchipudi dance drama tradition and has also given them certificates, diplomas and degrees in Kuchipudi dance. Post this, Kuchipudi was also introduced in universities. Where it was introduced, what are the programs that are being offered? We'll discuss that in a few minutes. And these universities were not just restricted to India. Even when you move out of India, there are many universities that offer it as a course, a university level course, and the best example is the Silicon Andhra University, which is established in California in the United States of America. The modern education system that is followed in India before we ever got independence was because of the British colonization. And earlier, any education that was delivered in this country was according to the Gurukula tradition, be it the Kuchipudi dance drama tradition, or the Devadasis, or the music, or the theatre, or any knowledge system per se. The knowledge transfer from the Guru and the Sishya was only through the Gurukula Paddhati, which means the student stays with the Guru either in their home or in the ashrama or in a small institution that is set up by the Guru, and serves the Guru and learns the knowledge system. Right from the Vedic period to the ancient medieval, in India, the knowledge transfer, the Guru Sishya Parampara, was only through the Gurukula Paddhati. But because of the education system that was introduced in India by the British colonial rule, the universities that we learn in, the college, the schooling system, everything is according to this modern education system. And when we have to deliver art forms like Kuchipudi or any dance form per se or music, there are its own limitations and challenges when we have to deliver in a modern education setup. Because staying with the Guru, living with the Guru, and learning it for a number of years has its own depth and deep-rootedness in terms of knowledge gaining. But you just go to a school and learn in a few hours and come back is probably again restricted and limited. And above that, you're going to a university and learning it as a course in just a matter of probably 2 to 3 years is one of the biggest challenges and limitations. That is the reason why in many universities, especially for dance, when students are taken into after their admission process or before the admission process, a lot of filtration during the admission times happens because it is very difficult and very challenging and not very healthy also to give degrees in dance to the students who absolutely have no idea about dance. You cannot expect students who have zero knowledge about a particular dance form to come and in just 2 years of period do a master's degree and become a master's in any dance form. That's not a healthy sign. So a lot of filtration process happens if you need to be admitted to get a master's degree in dance, and some years of learning under a guru is mandatory because, as said before, to learn any dance form requires an entire lifetime to understand the smallest of the smallest nuances or technicalities of it. Every generation has its own capacity. Many people say, no, my child learns it very well. He's a very fast learner. Probably a very fast learner to grasp, but it at least takes 5 to 6 years or some 10 years to at least understand what you're trying to do. In just 1 or 2 years, you cannot understand a dance form. Your body cannot accept the grammar and the language of the dance form. So when you join a university to do a degree or a course, it requires certain amount of mandate of training from a teacher. And because of post-independence, where we had the need to create a lot of awareness about our dance forms, the institutionalizations of Kuchipudi or Bharatanatyam or Kathakali or Mohiniyattam or Odissi were very important, because the teaching of these dance forms at a university level, at a college level, gave a lot of respect in the society. Apart from learning it your own guru in their own small premises of an institution. The very good example is the Shantiniketan that was established by Sri Rabindranath Tagore. He has introduced courses in Manipuri and Kathakali in his Shantiniketan, and he called gurus all the way from Manipur and Kerala to teach at his Kolkata-based Shantiniketan to increase the awareness, to preserve them and to revive them. Apart from dance forms like Manipuri and Kathakali, many folk forms were also revived and preserved in Shantiniketan, Kolkata. So when dance forms or music forms or theatre forms enter the institutionalization process in colleges and universities, there are 100% chances that the preservation of these dance forms happen. And not just through degrees, but also through research. When research scholars enter into the field of dance or music or theatre, performing arts in general, a lot of documentation that is not there in these performing arts, because the only vision and mission that every artist of every era pre-independence had was only to propagate and promote the performing arts. So we see very less documentation of these art forms pre-independence. But to increase the awareness, increase the access to the future generations, the documentation was very important in terms of performing arts. And there came the great wave of institutionalization and the great wave of research in performing arts, which paved a way to document the declining art forms, to document the science and the grammar of these performing arts. Also, Kuchipudi, which is a part of this performing arts genre. And because of this, the future generation knows what happened 500 years back, what happened 600 years back, which was not easy otherwise. And in Kerala, we see the establishment of Kerala Kala Mandalam in the year 1930 by the great poet Vallathol Narayana Menon. Because of the establishment of Kala Mandalam in Kerala, the Devadasi tradition of Mohiniyattam was preserved and revived for generations coming next. Institutionalization in performing arts is a very important move to preserve and document dance, music and theatre forms. Another best example is the establishment of Kalakshetra in Chennai in the year 1936, where Guru Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale has revived, rechristened the Sadirattam, the Devadasi traditions of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, gave it a new form and shape altogether, gave it a new name, gave it accessibility to the most elite communities in the society. Today, Bharatanatyam is accepted by the highest of the highest communities in the society, which was looked down upon probably 100 years back. And the institution of Kalakshetra played a very vital role in preserving this Devadasi tradition. So, my dear students, please understand that even the traditional art forms, even though they are traditional, even though they are hereditary, even though the dance institutions teach it, when it gets on to the universities and the college levels, the access that it has, the amount of scope that it has for teaching, preservation and documentation is incomparable. It is very important that performing arts gets institutionalized. There was a period in the history of India where I learnt it from a very good friend of mine, who said that when Dr. Kanakrele established the Nalanda Dance Research Center in Mumbai in the very early parts of 1950s or 1960s, there came a news heading that said, "The prostitution is now institutionalized," quote unquote. That was the purview of the society post-independence, immediately post-independence. They said prostitution is institutionalized. They never bothered about how it got into the prostitution. What were the political reasons that led women to become like that? But they only spoke about that word. They never thought about the grand culture and heritage that these art forms carried for centuries and centuries, giving a voice to our art. And because of institutions like these were well preserved, well documented, well taught to the next generations. In comparison with Bharatanatyam or Kathakali or Mohiniyattam or Manipuri, the dance institutionalization of Kuchipudi was comparatively late. might be through the establishment of the Siddhendra Kala Peetham in the year 1965, where I'm talking predominantly about Kuchipudi as a course center. And it was earlier called as Kuchipudi Bharatanatyam, that we have discussed in the lecture where we were talking about the classical status to Kuchipudi, where it was seen as a form of Bharatanatyam that is from the village of Kuchipudi. And also because of the need to establish our language, our state, from a linguistic barriers, because we were separated from the Madras Presidency in the year 1956. So there was a need to also create that awareness of the Telugu culture, apart from Kuchipudi traditional dance per se. And of course, the extensive tours of the stalwarts in the Kuchipudi dance also was a major reason for the popularity and the prominence that Kuchipudi dance got in the society. And the performing arts pedagogical techniques are very different. You cannot compare a dance department to work in the same way that an engineering department works. The pedagogy is extremely different. The way the exams are conducted is very different. The way the structure of the syllabus is made is entirely different. It has its own flavor of how the lectures are delivered. But still, we have made a systematization, a structure with the efforts of many great academics and researchers in Kuchipudi dance through efforts of many decades of establishment in the universities and government music and dance colleges. In the year 1919, there was this very first music and dance college that was set up by the name Maharaja Music and Dance College in Vijayanagaram. It was in 1919 and it is perhaps the very first music and dance college in the south of India, one of the many firsts. Later, this music and dance college was affiliated to the Putti Sriramalu Telugu University, Hyderabad, and it serves not just as a music and dance college but also a center for the certificate and diploma examinations that the Putti Sriramalu Telugu University offers as a course. Sri Tyagaraja Government College of Dance and Music that was established in 1952 in Hyderabad. Dr. Uma Rama Rao Garu, a very senior dance academic and researcher, and Sri Chinta Adinarayana Garu have served in the Tyagaraja Government College of Dance and Music, also paving a way for the systematization and the structuralism of the Kuchipudi dance institutions. In 1988, the first department at the university level was started at the Central University of Hyderabad, HCU, with the post-graduation courses and later a doctoral degree programs. And stalwarts like Dr. Nataraj Ramakrishna Garu was very instrumental in the establishment of dance departments in the Hyderabad Central University. And in the year 1989, Putti Sriramalu Telugu University started a dance department with undergraduate and postgraduate programs along with certificate and diploma courses. Both Central University of Hyderabad and Putti Sriramalu Telugu University are very well known for their dance music courses at both the certificate, diploma, undergraduate and postgraduate and doctoral program levels. Siddhendra Kala Peetham or Siddhendra Kala Kshetra that is established in the Kuchipudi village in 65 was affiliated to the Putti Sriramalu Telugu University in the year 1989. And in the year 1919, even Kuchipudi Yakshaganam as a course, as an academic course, was established in Siddhendra Kala Peetham in the Kuchipudi village. And since then, many students have also been learning Kuchipudi Yakshaganams as a diploma program and had access even though they belong to the non-hereditary families of Kuchipudi. Andhra University has started a dance department in the year 2004. And as said before in the earlier lectures, gurus like Srimati Bala Kondalrao Garu was very instrumental in the start of the dance department. And a very well-known musician, Dr. Gauri Ram Mohan Garu, was the first head of the department of this dance department in Andhra University, which is still running successfully, offering certificate, diploma, masters and doctoral programs in dance. Today, many universities in India and also in countries like USA, like the Silicon Andhra University, offer certificate, diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral programs in Kuchipudi. Many deemed to be and autonomous universities in India also offer minor programs and open electives in Kuchipudi dance. Let's say, for example, the Geetham deemed to be university that I am currently working in. We offer minor and elective programs in Kuchipudi dance. And we are planning to start a master's and a doctoral program in Kuchipudi dance very soon. Now, what happens when you offer it as a minor and an elective program? Even though the students majorly are focused in another degree, let's say a BTech or a BSc or a B Pharmacy or a BArch or a BA in probably a psychology or economics, when they're still interested to learn Kuchipudi, because the needs of the society have changed. Today you have to do a very conventional degree to get a job, and you need to survive in a society which has a lot of challenges with the cost of living. And so even if you want to do a very conventional degree but you're still interested to learn dance, you can also do your degree and take an electives in Kuchipudi and still continue your passion in learning Kuchipudi, which is also a part of the academic curriculum and structure. So gone are the days when dance was treated as an extracurricular. Today the word extra is removed. With the institutionalization of dance, the extra word was removed and dance became a part of the curriculum. Dance became a part of the curricular structure. You're doing degrees in dance, you're doing jobs because of your degrees in dance, you are doing n number of researchers writing articles in dance in parallel with your peers, who are also writing articles in, say, chemical engineering or architecture or medicine. You're also writing research articles on dance. And when people ask me, do you really have something to study in dance? The only question that I tell them is, if you have so much to study about something which is 200 to 300 years old, don't we have anything to study which is more than 5,000 years old? So my dear students, with the knowledge that you gain through dance academics or dance learning, please spread the awareness as a vision, as a mission, that let people be aware that apart from performing, we learn a lot of theory in dances. And apart from the systematization of the practical syllabus in dance, there are a lot of theoretical aspects that have been also very well structured and systematized to suit the university requirements of giving a degree. And apart from teaching the practical and the theoretical aspects of dance, the syllabus is structured in such a way that you also learn the elite art forms of dance. Let's say you are a dancer. Apart from learning dance, you should also know the lighting the stage requires, how costumes are done, what properties are needed. So the stage, light, sound, makeup, all these are elite art forms that a dancer has to compulsorily know to become a professional in their field. So the universities have also gone a way ahead and are also sort of giving these elite art forms as a part of their syllabus to give a holistic experience to dance students who have joined their universities. And there are, as said before, certain limitations to the dance institutionalization. What are the limitations? These dance forms which were just confined to the premises of a village or to the hereditary families now have come out of that, and since many decades have been being offered to non-hereditary families. But even though it was hereditary families or the non-hereditary families, the Guru Sishya Parampara was there, the Gurukula Paddhati that was there. Probably because of the dance institutions, that is no more possible. You have to just go 9 to 5 to your college, come back and do it like any other conventional degree. Though the amount of knowledge that you gain in these 2 or 3 years is very less in comparison with your entire journey with your Guru in a Gurukula Paddhati or in the actual Guru Sishya Parampara, but still the experience that you gain, the exposure that you have, and the awareness of the number of other things that are connected to dance is incomparable. It is humongous. And a lot of multidisciplinary research that is happening in the academic institutions on dance. Let's say one of my very good friends has done a research on Kuchipudi and the anatomy of body. One has done on Kuchipudi and yoga. Another has done on philosophy and let's say a certain tradition of Kuchipudi. So the multidisciplinary research as an Indian knowledge systems that is happening in dance research is awesome. When you read these researches that happened at a multidisciplinary level in dance, you would actually know how all dots are connected in our Indian knowledge systems, which was otherwise just very restricted to your own knowledge system because of the modern education system that was introduced by the British government. And having a very fundamental understanding of the Indian knowledge systems is very possible if you learn dance. Because when you learn dance, you're not just learning about dance, you're also learning about the fundamental aspects of music, be it the raga or the tala system, about literature through the compositions that you dance, through the life histories of the Vagyekaras. You learn a lot of philosophy that is there in each composition. You become very spiritually inclined. You learn a lot of mathematics through the Tala system that you learn. You also learn a lot about Indian mythology through the different narratives that you perform. And apart from all these, you also learn about the great history of our Indian culture and heritage. So there is a 360-degree holistic development of an artist who is a dancer. So my dear students, because of the multidisciplinary research that is happening in dance, there is a lot to learn in dance as academic or research apart from just the performative aspects. And another limitation that is also there is the few years of training that you have. The years of training in a university are very restricted. It's probably 2 to 3 years, that's all. But still, it will be very exhaustive. Even though you will not spend 20 years, a good amount of 20-25 years in any university, it's just 2 to 3 years. But still, the systematization and the structure that is there played a very prominent role in getting that outlook to the dance students. And very unfortunately, I'm not sure if I should say this or not, but these degrees sometimes become a piece of paper giving power to many who have not learned much of dance, which is not a very healthy sign in performing arts of India or any other country. You don't have a lot of training, but with just a piece of paper, when probably you go and say, I'm something in dance, what about those 30-40 years of training that someone had and you're standing in par with them? So think twice. Have a good number of years of training from a guru and then get that piece of paper from a very reputed university with a lot of theoretical knowledge that it gives, a lot of practical exposure that it gives, and a lot of holistic understanding that it gives through the allied art forms. Empower yourself with knowledge. Don't just empower yourself with a piece of paper called as degree. Another limitation that I see in probably dance institutions, being an academic and researcher myself, that it is open to everyone. It's good to give education to all communities, to everyone out there. But sometimes being open to everyone is also a limitation in its own course, because you actually don't know whom you are empowering. So that is also one of the limitations, but probably when the teachers handle the students very well, you are actually giving a good empowerment to the students. And this modern Kuchipudi in the contemporary world, which was just restricted to a village and a few traditional families, where it was made mandate by Siddhendra Yogi that we believe to be the father of Kuchipudi dance or the progenitor of Kuchipudi dance, drama tradition particularly, the promise that he had taken that every boy should, perform Bhama Kalapam in the Bhama Vesham in the Ramalingeshwara Swami temple has gone to an extent where, fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure, but today we see a lot of women performing Kuchipudi than men. And one of the practical reasons that I see is because there is a lot of need of steady jobs today in the society because of the upsurge in the cost of living and the prices in the society that we live. So many men are not taking it as a complete career, or rather having a parallel career along with Kuchipudi dance, because they also have to meet the family expectations of being the breadwinner. And a lot of women are doing this Kuchipudi dance, and today when you see the entire world of Kuchipudi, you have more female performers than male performers. But yes, I should place this on record, the male performers who are there in Kuchipudi dance, both from the hereditary and the non-hereditary families, are, incomparable in their technique or dance presentation, or the knowledge that they have, and the beauty and the aesthetic values and the academic and the research-oriented perspective that the women performers give is beyond comparison. So both men and women are playing a very predominant role in the upliftment and the development of the modern contemporary Kuchipudi dance. And when Siddhendra Yogi said that every boy should perform in the Ramalingeshwara Swami temple, we have come to a stage where a lot of Ranga Praveshams are happening by every performer who has started Kuchipudi dance and who has a good amount of 5 to 6 years of training from a guru. This Ranga Pravesham, also called as Arangetram, was a tradition that we see in the Bharatanatyam dancers. We have borrowed that from that dance tradition, and today we have Arangetrams, Ranga Praveshams in Kuchipudi dance in public platforms, not in temples, but in public auditoriums. And today it has gone to a level where it is a little less costly than a marriage. And people are doing it in every nook and corner of the world. And doing a Ranga Pravesham is, itself a showcase of your technical brilliance and your few years of training under a guru. And probably you have that basic fundamental knowledge of at least what Kuchipudi is. A lot of workshops are conducted in Kuchipudi dance, where a certain guru does a workshop in a certain city or a town, and people from that nearby places come, register themselves, and probably learn a solo piece of dance in Kuchipudi or 1 or 2 solo pieces in Kuchipudi. And that is also a very ongoing trend in Kuchipudi dance. So from a Guru Sishya Parampara, where you join a guru at a very young age and have a 2 decades or 2.5 decades of training, now we are not bothered. The society has changed to a certain way that even if you are attached to a certain guru, but if another eminent stalwarts come to your city, your teacher or yourself, you are very open-minded. You don't have that problem of also attending the classes of other teachers, learning bits and pieces of probably solo pieces from them and performing those pieces. So the view that we have is now more open-minded. We are trying to embrace a lot of cosmopolitan and metropolitan culture into our own dance form. A lot of competitions are happening in Kuchipudi dance apart from workshops. And even though this is a very dance drama tradition, even though it's a Yakshagana Paddhati traditionally, because of the predominance that the solo items have got in Kuchipudi, today a lot of competitions that happen in Kuchipudi, majorly 99%, are on the solo pieces of dance of Kuchipudi. You very rarely see a competition of Kuchipudi Yakshaganas in any part of the country or the world. But the solo pieces of dance, the solo tradition of Kuchipudi has become so worldwide, so popular, that even the competitions happen on a very large scale. And major of the dance institutions, take part in that with their students. We have summer camps going, we have workshops going, we have competitions going, we have major dance festivals of Kuchipudi going. And in all the dance festivals of the world, You have Kuchipudi being represented by many stalwarts of Kuchipudi, be it a very old generation or be it the youngest generation. There is a representation of Kuchipudi. So whenever you see someone performing, don't ever see that why is this, why is this being performed? Always look at it a view that, okay, the word Kuchipudi is represented at that level in the dance festival, which all of us have to be proud of, because the amount of hard work that the gurus of the yesteryears have kept to just keep this alive, to make it at least survive among all the other art forms, has a result of being represented at an international level. So their hard work, the diligent, persistent and the consistent efforts that they have made to just keep this alive, to make it survive, is now become the face of an entire state and is being represented at many festivals, which is a proud moment to all of us who are in the legacy of those great gurus. And very recently in the national newspaper, The Hindu, there was an article that was written on Kuchipudi, where I read that many people are, even though performing, learning and teaching Kuchipudi dance, the last lines of those article from The Hindu really stuck my mind. And it said that it's important that this Kuchipudi village be recognized as a heritage village, because by recognizing this village that has been serving the Kuchipudi art form since centuries and has been very predominant in continuing the art and the cultural legacy of the country in its own way, probably that small agraharam, that hamlet, has to be recognized as a heritage village by the government of India. And it's very important that this small 600 acres hamlet needs to have its own advanced technologies of having a very good school, of having a very good hospital, and of having the mere fundamental requirements that every people of every village need. And the tag heritage village to a Kuchipudi will always give its own benefits from the government to the people who are still staying and to the art form that it is surviving. So on this note, I end my lecture and also the course History, Evolution and Development of Kuchipudi Dance. Hope you have learned something through this course, and prostrating my head as a Kuchipudi practitioner, as an academic and a researcher, I prostrate my head all the Sishyas, all the performers, all the academics and researchers instrumental in their own way, be it a very small way or be it a very big way. It counts. So to everyone who have given their entire life, their whole dance, I bow to you all, and thank you students. Namaskaram.